Alright, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a fight review. So we're going to Saitama, Japan for RIZIN number 24. We're going to the Strawweight division. Rena coming in 10-3, taking in on Emi Tomimatsu coming in at 15-16. I said going in that this was going to be Rena's most experienced opponent, and some people were counting Tomimatsu out immediately. And I said, look, you can't underestimate a crafty veteran like Tomimatsu. One other note I want to make is that Rena had former RIZIN Super Atomweight champ Ayaka Hamasaki, one of her training partners, in her corner. So first round, honestly, it was very uneventful. Rena walked down the circling Tomimatsu. She threw an occasional jab or jab cross. Tomimatsu was just content to spend the round circling out, feeling out her opponent, and not really doing much. She started coming forward in the final minute, but she still wasn't throwing much. Second round, however, both fighters came out more aggressive. Tomimatsu got a standing back take before going for a single leg, but Rena was able to defend it. And then Tomimatsu stayed on her and got a single leg that got Rena down to the ground. Tomimatsu was able to pass to mount, started landing some ground and pound. Looked like Rena might have been in trouble, but she was able to scramble out. But Tomimatsu very slickly took her back, brought her back down. Tomimatsu locked on the figure four body lock with her legs and started fishing for the rear naked choke. Unfortunately, she was a little too high and at a bad angle, didn't have the figure four tight enough really to keep that angle, and she kind of slipped off, and Rena was able to slip out to end up in Tomimatsu's guard, where Rena stood up and started throwing kicks and threw a stomp to Tomimatsu's head. But after the second round, you got to keep in mind, RIZIN does not use a 10-point must scoring system. They score the fight as a whole. So I'll be honest, even though she did nothing with the first round, by the end of the second, I had Tomimatsu ahead in the whole fight. So third round, Rena came out more aggressive, started backing Tomimatsu up with punches. Tomimatsu telegraphed a takedown, Rena was able to defend it at first, but Tomimatsu trapped Rena against the fence. Against the ropes. Rena had sprawled, and the sprawl pushed her legs back under the bottom rope. Tomimatsu had Rena trapped, started landing a few knees, and it looked like Rena was in trouble again. But Rena, she was able to get back to her feet and escaped and started landing punches, forcing another takedown attempt from Tomimatsu. Again, Rena defended, and she rolled the grounded Tomimatsu over to north-south and started looking like she was working for an arm lock, but wasn't able to get it, so eventually stood up. At this point, Tomimatsu decided she wanted nothing to do with Rena on the feet. She's probably tired and just knew she couldn't stand with Rena. So she started going for these desperation takedowns, and Rena continued to outbox her on the feet. Tomimatsu again went for a desperation takedown right at the end of the round, and Rena went for another stomp to finish the fight. So it went to the judges, and all three judges scored the fight for Rena, your winner by unanimous decision. Like I said, the first round, very lackluster, very uneventful, but the second and third round, both fighters really came alive and went out there to look to win it. So, I thought Rena looked pretty good out there. She fought through adversity. She was in trouble in like 2 different spots, but she fought through that adversity against, without a doubt, her most experienced opponent yet. And, like I said in my weekend preview video, Tomimatsu is a crafty veteran, and you cannot count out those crafty veterans, even one who's on a downslide like Tomimatsu. And thankfully, Tomimatsu proved the adage right. Never overlook a veteran like that. Interestingly enough, in post-fight interview, I think it was backstage, you know, Rena talked about she's been fighting professionally for 13 years. She's only 29, but she has been fighting professionally for 13 years, mostly in shoot boxing, then the last like 5 years or like 4 or 5 years. Started fighting MMA in RIZIN. She says she's going to fight a few more fights and then retirement. So hopefully they're good fights. Now for things to work on, for Rena, you know, her weakest area is still her transitions. And when I say transition, I mean when you're moving from one area of the game to another. For example, you're moving from the striking to the wrestling, from the wrestling to the submission grappling, from the ground game moving back up to the feet. When she went to train with Japanese MMA legend Rumina Sato, he mentioned that that was by far her weakest area, and she's improved a lot in that area, but it's still her weakest area. So she still needs to work on those transitions. Also, still needs to work on her takedown defense. Tomimatsu's takedowns aren't that great, and she still got her down twice. For Tomimatsu, you know, she's 38 years old and close to the end of her career. I doubt she's going to make any real improvements, but one thing you can still do is stop telegraphing your takedowns. You got to set them up. By the end of the third round, she was just going for desperation takedowns. They were wide open, not set up at all. You still have to set up your takedowns. And it's easy to forget that, you know, when you're desperate and you're tired and you're thinking about not losing, but you still have to calm down, set up those takedowns with some strikes to open up the takedown and get your opponent off guard and not seeing them coming. Now for fights to make, sticking with Tomimatsu. You know, I've been saying since last December she should consider retirement. I think what she should do now is go back to deep jewels. Go back down to atom weight, because she was definitely the smaller fighter in there against Rena at strawweight. Go back down to atom weight, get 1 or 2 more fights, and have a retirement fight. Just call it a career. There's no shame in that. Now for Rena, she wants to challenge Ham for the title. She talked about this earlier in the year, and I made a video about it. She reiterated this desire again tonight. I'm down for it. Rena versus Ham for the super atomweight title, if Rena can get back down to super atomweight properly. They fought once back years ago in shoot boxing. It was a darn good fight, pretty close. I even saw some people saying that Ham won the fight. They fought once in shoot boxing. Let's have that MMA rematch. Let's do it New Year's Eve. Hopefully Japan will lower their travel restrictions to foreigners so that they can have a proper, RIZIN can have a proper New Year's Eve show. Let's do Rena versus Ham for the super atomweight title. I'm so down for it. And if anyone isn't down for that fight, I question them as a fan. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the fight. Like I said, lackluster start to it, but very nice second and third round. Nice win for Rena. Like I said, she fought through adversity, showed some new, that, you know, she can get through those areas. Especially I was worried when Tomimatsu was getting, trying to sink into rear naked choke. I'm thinking, oh crap. Here goes Rena about to get choked unconscious again. She likes playing those air games. But you know what? She escaped, she fought through it, came back, got a nice win. And Tomimatsu gave a good account of herself too in a losing effort. So anyway, I'll try to link the fight in the comments down below. It might not last long because it was a bootleg, but let me go ahead and watch it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like the video, please give it a like and share it as well. That's how the word about the channel gets spread. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to Wmma Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.